Rugby.com, I'm Meghan Mutrie and this is your first Rugby Rundown. From now on, twice a week, we will bring you online previews and reviews of the world's top professional and international fixtures, and you won't have to read a thing. We begin in the Magners League, which had the honours of claiming the last professional match of 2009. The Scarlets finished the decade on a winning note against the Newport Gwent Dragons 14-9. The Scarlets, already short 8 players because of injury, also lost former Welsh captain Stephen Jones in the 54th minute to an AC injury in his right shoulder. With the Six Nations looming, Wales will be holding their breath for that injury report. In his teammates' absence, Scarlets fullback Rhys Priestland took over the kicking duties with an important penalty and scored the deciding try as well. Though the Dragons led at half, the only points they could muster were off fly half Sean Connor's boot. The Ospreys gave the Cardiff Blues a kickstart to their New Year's Eve hangover in a 26-0 thumping at the Liberty Stadium. The home side had 3 unanswered tries, 2 from Nicky Walker and 1 from skipper Ryan Jones. The easy win momentarily took them to the top of the Magners League table on Friday night. On Saturday, Connacht and Leinster were postponed due to a frozen pitch, a symptom of that cold spell that has wreaked so much holiday havoc in Europe and the UK. In Scotland on Saturday, Glasgow defeat their rivals Edinburgh twice in as many weeks and claim the world's oldest intercity match, the Sports 1872 Cup, with a 22-15 victory. Glasgow's win at Murrayfield was the second Magners match of the weekend, where the team who scored all of their points via the uprights still found themselves on the losing end. League leading scorer Dan Parks added to his tally with 2 tries, 3 penalties and a drop goal as he proves he's a worthy selection for the upcoming Six Nations. Newly knighted Sir Ian McGeechan has tipped Ireland to repeat as Six Nations champions. The squads are expected to be named in the next few weeks. Ulster and Munster could have done without a second half as their game was decided in the first 40. A full-strength Ulster hung on to their 15-10 half-time lead over their countrymen who were missing all of their Ireland internationals. South Africa international Jean de Villiers scored under the posts in a losing effort, while Ulster's Simon Daniel dotted down twice. We moved to the Guinness Premiership, where all 12 teams were in action, though the Saracens had to wait an extra day for their second loss of the season when their match against Leicester was postponed. Fly half Toby Flood finished with 17 points for Leicester in the 22-15 win. His centre, Dan Hipkiss, scored the only try of the match. After 4 unbeaten months, the Saracens have now fallen twice in the last 2 weeks. The Tigers actually trailed 6-3 at half, but a throng of penalties and forwards pressure left the league-leading Saracens playing catch-up. In the post-match interviews, Saracens director of rugby, Brendan Venter, lived up to his last name and launched a verbal assault on the performance of referee David Rose and the standard of officiating in general. He said, "The lottery of referees' decision-making was killing attacking rugby." The RFU is investigating whether to financially reprimand Venter for his little rant. Sale avoided relegation when a Harlequins injury time try was disallowed by the referee for a foot-in touch. The 21-16 win was the Sharks' first victory in the Guinness Premiership since November. The Quins will be looking around the room for answers, as Friday's loss was their 4th consecutive one. The impressive New Zealander, Nick Evans, had Sale's defence unsure of which option he'd use, but his efforts were trumped by Sharks hooker Neil Briggs, who did the brunt of the work and then put James Gaskell away for a 70-metre turning point try. Evans' foot kept the Quins' hopes up, only to be dashed with the referee's decision in injury time. Gloucester and Worcester earned their points the exact same way in a 13-all draw in the West Country contest. Spotty kicking plagued both sides throughout the 80, including a rare miss for Carlos Spencer in the last play of the game, as a conversion would have put his team ahead. Worcester led at the interval, 13-5, but let Gloucester back into it when they failed to find the score sheet again. It was the best of the worst, with Bath claiming a scrappy 20-15 win over last place Leeds at Headingley. The 2 teams played for the bragging rights of not being at the bottom of the table, and although both fly halves kicked 5 penalties each, a try by Bath winger Michael Stevenson was the difference. Leeds may be regretting their choice of game management, as they were content to kick the ball clear in the second half once they'd secured a small lead. They could only watch as Bath's Nicky Little turned an offside penalty into the deciding points. The England coaches went Six Nations shopping as they watched the London Irish fall to Northampton 24-22. The coaches would have been unimpressed with the opening minutes of the back-and-forth game, as it was plagued by a stalemate of senseless kicking. The Saints' points total was divisible by 3 thanks to a combined effort from Stephen Myler and Shane Garrity, who kicked 9 and 5 points respectively. A win could have put the Irish in front of the Saracens at the top of the table, but they'll have to settle into the second spot. Sunday's lone Premiership matchup between Newcastle and the London Wasps was an unfortunate example of what too much aimless kicking has done to the pro game. Decided wholly by kicks, Newcastle Kiwi Jimmy Gopworth made 4 penalties in an unexciting 12-6 win over the Wasps. The positives that came out of Sunday were that with the win, the Falcons effectively ended a 3-game losing slide and now sit just 2 points back of the top half of the table. The normally adept kicking of Dave Walder failed the Wasps, as did their scrum that was pushed around the park like a little kid. The top 14 reserved all of its matches for Sunday, the traditional rugby day in France. Before Christmas, the LNR confirmed that they will implement an €8 million salary cap for each club next season, as well as begin to phase in a foreign player quota that will eventually see 60% of each French club considered homegrown. First place Castra's Chris Masoi scored the bonus point try in a big win over bottom club Albi, although there were a host of other points that would have done the trick as well. It took just 26 minutes for the league leaders to score 22 points, and they would double that figure come the final whistle for a 44-10 win over Albi. Big spending Stade Francais proved that money doesn't equal happiness, as they are yet to win away from home this season. They drew 6-all with Montauban in a deadbeat match. Stade Francais could have used either of their starting scrum halves, but an eye gouge and a broken hand have left Stade waiting in the depth pool. Champions Perpignan can't find their footing and continue to slide with their 4th successive defeat, including 2 losses to Munster in the Heineken Cup. In a surprise upset, Perpignan fell to Brive by a rather convincing score of 29-9. Brive were delighted to welcome back England centre Ricky Flutie from injury. France's fullback, Alexis Palisson, had a man-of-the-match performance in Brive's bonus point victory, as he was responsible for 23 of his side's 29 points. Racing Metro fell 1 point shy of securing 10 consecutive wins as they were narrowly defeated by Beaujois 18-17. With 6 of those 9 wins decided by 6 points or less, Racing's habit of tight scorelines finally caught up with them. Before Sunday, Racing hadn't lost since September. Biarritz scored 4 tries in a much-needed win over Montpellier, including one by American winger Takudza Nguyen. Biarritz will put Sunday's home win towards their rosy hopes of a postseason. Clermont easily dispatched of Toulon 39-3 in what was supposed to be a tighter contest. The match remained close at 10-3 until the 50th minute, when Clermont ran away with the game. Toulon were previously on course to secure a playoff spot. Philippe Saint-Andre will try to redirect his star-stacked squad back on track. In the last match of the weekend, Toulouse booted their way to a 15-13 win over Bayonne. The win moves Toulouse into 3rd place on the top 14 table, while the loss puts Bayonne just shy of the relegation zone. Bayonne are in need of some serious direction as they don't look out of place in the French basement and have lost 7 of their last 8 matches. Bayonne's continuing struggles bring an end to the first weekend of rugby in 2010. That's all for me, but we'll be back again at the end of the week to preview this weekend's fixtures. Thank you so much for joining us at heavensgame.com. Be sure to visit the website for all the latest international, professional, and club rugby news from around the world, as well as entertaining opinions from the best blogging personalities and spirited podcasts. I'm Meghan Mutrie, and this has been your Rugby Rundown, bringing you up to date. Have a great week.